everyone, and thank you for joining us on the webinar today. My name is Bobby Rudder. I'm with Godlan, and I'm going to jump right in here. I'd like to say first, though, if throughout the webinar you have any questions to ask, please type those in the chat panel. We'll read those off to the presenter at the end and get some answers for you. So today we're going to be looking at Duet Connector, and we're going to be talking about connecting Sightline, ERP, and Salesforce with the Duet Connector. Duet is managed by our partner company, Endowance Solutions. Godlan and Endowance have worked closely together for nearly 5 years now, helping many of our existing clients take their business to the next level with deep integrations between ERP and CRM. And Endowance is really a true leader in this space. On the call with me today is Mike Bristol. He's the Chief Product Officer for Endowance. He'll be executing the demonstration. And, well, without further delay, I'd like to pass control over to you, Mike.
Hey, thanks, Bobby. This is Mike Bristol. Happy to have the opportunity to speak with you guys today. Thanks for joining. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started. We'll get into the content for you. So here's, this is myself. I'm a CRM expert. I've been working in this space since before CRM, so for about 15 years, and also 25 years just working for enterprise software companies. In fact, I've done tours of duty and consulting, pre-sales, sales, product management, and development. Been a Salesforce partner since 2012, and I've worked at Infor, which I know is important for. That's where I, met Godlan in my role at Infor. I was there about 9 years, and have worked at SAP, Bonhorum, and Blue Martini, to give you a little bit of a background on myself. So very familiar with Infor, very familiar with Sightline, the team there in development, sales, etc. So today, just as our core topics in the time that we have, we're going to talk about the CRM Imperative. So it's more or less an update on why CRM, what does it matter, why should it matter to me? The next is, all right, beyond CRM, what's really moving and shaking in the marketplace today, and more specifically for manufacturers, or some intonations for manufacturers. And that is the customer 360, the experience is king. So not only is it important to have 360-degree view of your customer, but it is your customer's 360-degree view and of their experience with you. And then finally, we're going to talk and show Duet. So you can take a look at the product where we really are building out this comprehensive customer profile and understanding of both where we want to integrate both data as well as business processes between the back office and the front office. And we'll wrap up with just talking about a couple of key data points, confirmation and building confidence around Endowance and Duet. So with no further ado, I'll jump right in. So the CRM Imperative, really what it comes down to is there's tons of examples and specific data that's being collected by independent parties. So in this case, that's saying that, hey, by using these systems, we're getting tangible, quantifiable results. We can measure things and evaluate win rate. So the number of deals that we're in, up to a certain point of evolution of that deal, how many do we win? What's our batting average, right? How many hits, how many wins, and how many losses? Lead conversion rates, what gets converted from a lead to an actual qualified opportunity? Sales productivity, measuring their time and productivity count, and then forecast accuracy. These are all of those underpinnings that ultimately drive the numbers that our executives and our company and everybody wants for the health and well-being of our organization, and that is revenue. And even beyond revenue, it's profitability, right? So if you're driving a bunch of revenue, but you're losing money, you're just going out of business. We want to drive and grow revenue, be able to quantify it, measure it, associate it with our initiatives that we're investing in, and ultimately it must be profitable. So these are numbers that came from surveying thousands and thousands of Salesforce customers. It's a biannual survey, and the results of 4,600 customer respondents from all over the world. And this is conducted, while it is over all of the Salesforce customer base, it's conducted by an independent research firm called Confirmant. Now, looking more specifically at that survey and the results, this is something that's publicly available, and you can look into things like the average reported percentage improvement in sales, and it breaks it down into a couple of the key performance indicator categories, things, average reported percentage improvements in sales and support, and then there's much more to this report. But at the top of the report, looking at improvements of just overall the business, right? So you as an enterprise, as an organization, if you are anything like the survey respondents, they're 52% favorably responding of our response times are better. We're faster at doing what we do for our customers, faster, which is generally supported by faster internal and external collaboration, faster resolution time, faster decision making, etc. So we'll provide you with this PowerPoint and a link to the results to make it easy. But that's what it looks like, and these are the actual numbers. Now, in another survey that Salesforce does with sales reps, so thousands of sales reps with 3,100 respondents, and this is an annual report of the state of sales. And the idea is, what are the top key KPIs, right, as part of this report that sales organizations and successful sales reps, sales organizations, whether it's direct or channel, what are they seeing as their priorities? And those priorities in terms of the trends, a big one happened in 2017. And that is, traditionally we're looking at, hey, our sales process has to be great, the lead to cash time, etc., organizational performance, account management. These are all the traditional things. But at the top of the list now, and something that's been creeping up there is, the Net Promoter Scores, the NPS scores, our customers' experience and their success with our company. So this is really saying that, the digital change, the digital movement has happened. The expectations have changed. People are keeping score about what that experience is with the company instead of just looking at consumer reports type information about which product and why. It's really that total experience. So this is really to emphasize, in addition to the imperative of CRM, and we've talked about customer through 360 view, you've got to gather information from everywhere and be able to have a fortified customer profile. It is, in fact, changing to not just that profile, but understanding that customer's experience. And then looking at that one layer deeper into manufacturing. So with Salesforce's World Tour, and in April of 2017 in Chicago, in a session that was dedicated to the trends amongst manufacturers, both in the US, North America, and globally. And the focus was really on how technology shifts have forced manufacturers to reconsider how they go to market, and 6 key considerations that are proposed out there and being confirmed and propagated is, some of the changing priorities because of the changing landscape. Connected customers, lifetime customer value, ongoing interaction with our customers, strong focus on customer engagement, shared ownership of customer relationship with partners, dealers, and distributors, and particularly important to the manufacturing space and their go-to-market channels. And then always on product connectivity, so that's getting into the Internet of Things as well. So a more connected world than we've ever had before, a more monitored world than we've ever had before, and all of this naturally comes into play with our manufacturing businesses. So now taking it to, thinking in terms of, okay, in order for us to do our job, we need to know, especially with our existing customers, we need to know everything we can. And a lot of that happens to be in other systems, such as Sightline, where it's a system of record for orders or quotes or shipments or invoices or receivables, etc. We need all that. I need a total picture, right? It's essentially, we're like doctors, and our customers, our patients, we have to have a complete understanding of the history of the relationship, what's working, what's not, what are the trends. Now, there's a separate survey by an independent not related to Salesforce in a separate article that talked about CRM and its impact on the total customer experience. So I really dove into some details here. And one of the key values after surveying more than 500 customers, how many systems impact your customers? So through the course of the customer experience, how many systems are used to support, our employees in supporting the customer, engaging the customer? Well, more than 20 systems are a third of the customer respondents. 11 to 20 are 25% of them, and 6 to 10 are 28% of them. So here you have the vast majority, right? Percentage of these companies responded where there's multiple systems that are contributing or to the interaction with the customer, which means there's viable information that we might need to have as part of our total comprehensive customer picture. Now, how and why do we need that comprehensive profile? Well, if we look at the traditional customer interaction model, right? We market something, we sell it, we fulfill it, we serve the customer, and then it's a rinse and repeat. So when we look at marketing, at the highest level or the highest order, what is their goal? Well, it's to promote, define and promote the brand, which is the company, the products, the culture, all of what that brand represents and what's going to be compelling to the marketplace, and then to generate leads. Well, in order to do that, marketing is always looking for a great connection. Don't want to be spam, don't want to be a nuisance or a bother. So we need to be able to understand who we're going to be communicating with marketing, or via marketing. We need to understand that target market or that customer base as best we can. So oftentimes in manufacturing and distribution, the majority of orders are from existing customers. The majority of our time spent and invested is with existing customers versus new. So that expectation is, if you're going to communicate with me, you better know what we've bought. In fact, even what you've quoted us, what service agreements are in place and may be expiring, right? Interactions that have taken place, contacts and their roles and the evolution of those roles and interactions, etc. So all of these things need to go into marketing instead of just blindly going at the SIC code. And that comes from a robust customer profile. When we look at selling, it's more important than ever to not only be of value to our prospects and customers and not just trying to win business, but also to be predictive and proactive. So the goals of selling is to qualify opportunities, engage with those qualified opportunities, and drive business in the way of orders. So how do we get support with a more robust profile, right, instead of running with ACT or Outlook? Why is it that we need something more robust? It's because that's what it takes to win. Those are the expectations of the customers in the marketplace. So things like knowing, what if we, before I talk to a customer, I could be on board day one with your company as a sales rep, and I'm going to talk to an existing customer. Well, if I'm using a solution that we build here between Duet and Salesforce and Sightline, right, we'll know the history of everything we've quoted, everything our customer has ordered. What have we shipped? What have we invoiced that customer? What have they paid us for? Have they returned anything? And have there been any service incidents? That's the expectation. They don't want to explain to the new sales rep, what the history of the relationship has been. These are becoming imperatives and mandatories. When we go into fulfillment, and that's once there's an order, we got to perhaps make it, package and ship it and install it, right? Our possibility. So of course, everything about the customer, the order detail, etc., and then being able to dynamically update the order and the shipping status, right? And then moving that into service for installation. And with service, it's really being responsive and predictive, right? Either you're getting called for something that's busted, or you're trying to be predictive with maintenance, installation, etc. So it's at the service level where you're really trying to delight that customer, have their experience where they feel like it's a successful transaction, a successful relationship, and somebody that they want to do business with again. So that's where we get to rinse and repeat. So market, sell, fulfill, and serve. Clearly, we need a comprehensive profile. And based on, you can look at your own environment. It is just, table stakes or meat and potatoes that companies use several systems to track their, interactions and support their customers. And this is that third-party survey that gives us a little bit more validation. So with that, we come to a point where I want to turn it over to a colleague of mine, RJ, that's going to show you the solution. So when we talk about Duet, and just as Bobby had mentioned, in typical terms, people say it's a connector. But the fact of the matter is, that's like saying, a car is, limit the, how you say it, you can turn it on, or it can get you from here to there. There's a lot more to it. Yes, there's a connector, and there's sophisticated integration that's in the background. The notion seems simple. Of course, we need a total customer profile. But simple doesn't mean easy. I love playing basketball and golf. It's a simple concept, right? Put the ball in the hole. Well, simple, again, doesn't mean easy, and it doesn't mean less than complicated. Our focus has been to, in our expertise and experience with over 300 customers, is to build a solution that deals with this complexity, packages it up, and ultimately provides you with the end result. There are massive enhancements to Salesforce in order to build this customer profile, as well as the sophisticated integration to the back office ERP. So with that, I'll turn it over to RJ.
Thanks, Mike, for that introduction. So what I'm going to talk about next is a walkthrough of our solution and the importance of why this integrated data between the CRM and your ERP is so critical to your organization. So right now we are in Salesforce.com, and as you will see in CRM-like fashion, you will have your standard entities that you use for sales, service, and marketing. Things like your leads, your accounts, contacts, and sales opportunities. And maybe even from a service perspective, you have cases. Now, what this integration brings is that 360-degree view from your ERP. So beyond your CRM data, you will have access to business processes such as your ERP quotes or your estimates that are coming from Sightline. You can have customer orders, shipments, invoices, etc. And this solution is very extendable. Now, why is this important? As a salesperson, you may be going into a meeting with a client, and if you only have access to your CRM sales information, you may not be aware that there is an issue with an order or a shipment, or maybe even an invoice. With our integrated solution, Duet, and Sightline integration, you will have access, easy access to this information from your browser, from your mobile device to Salesforce One. This is all built on the Force.com platform. And you can get prepared for your meeting with your prospect or your customer with all of this information at your fingertips. Again, accessible to the browser, accessible to mobile devices. So you will see things like orders, invoices, receivables, etc. And because we have deep integration to Sightline, you can drill down into this information in multiple ways. As an example, I will go into a customer order here, and I can look at the order details. Again, as a sales rep here, and I can drill down as far as each individual lines on an order. And if I wanted to go even further, I can get all the way to the actual item master that we bring over from Sightline into Salesforce.com. Now, this is just one of many scenarios that our customers use and leverage the integration for, is to get that 360-degree view. But the other more important fact here is that the amount of time and revenue that the amount of time that can be saved, and also the amount of additional revenue that can be generated. And what do I mean by that? When, as a sales rep, many of our customers experience time that is used away from sales. as much as 20 to 30%. And time that sales does not spend on selling, because they have to work with operations or the back office to find out what is the status of my order. Where did my estimate go? Or, Mr. Customer, you have an open invoice. So this integration, again, many of our customers leverage this, can save time, become more efficient, and gain as much as 20 to 30% in revenue. We have many customers and success stories to back this up that we can share with you. And this is just a small piece of what I wanted to share. Mike also mentioned that we have integration to field service. There are many things from a sightline perspective that we can bring over into your CRM and expand that 360-degree view, and where your sales, your entire front office, sales, service, and marketing can leverage this data. At this point, I know this is a brief demo, but Mike, I think I'd like to pass it back to you.
Okay, gotcha. So, quick snippet there of just, showing you actual data that's being populated in CRM. Of course, it's housed in Sightline. So we'll walk through a little bit more detail on that. I'm going to go ahead and get presenting. So again, just to emphasize those points, building a complete customer profile, and we're going to build it, and it's really oriented for specifically Sightline. We've done this for Sightline customers, Sightline Salesforce customers combined. Being able to provide quote-to-order capabilities, so something pretty sophisticated and complicated that Salesforce intentionally does not invest a ton into its core package of CRM. We've enabled that process to be bidirectional and taken the complexity of a sophisticated quote and order process and really bake that in, black box it so that you can use it. And we also support Field Service Plus. So ultimately, you're getting one version of the truth. Now, a little bit about endowance, right? If we're at the point where we think, hey, this is a good idea, we see the way that things have gone, where things are in the trending of what customer expectations are, the digital revolution is in its second wave, and we think it's important to have a complete, comprehensive customer profile and something that can evolve and change and incorporate more than just one piece. So this is where endowance comes into play. Endowance has done over 350 Salesforce implementation projects. Of those 350, over 100 have in fact been including integration with back office ERP. So that gives us a terrific experience and real genuine knowledge base and expertise in this subject matter, which again, complicated, but hey, it's something that needs to be done. So that's where we saw the opportunity and have delivered. Mandatory with Salesforce is keeping track of your customer satisfaction scores, where you survey your customers on a scale of 10. Endowance for all of our customers is averaging 9.37. So by my reckoning, that's an A, right? When you're getting a 93% out of 100, you're an A student. So we're an A+ organization. We have many consultants with more than 15 years of business background. We've got a terrific and strong partnership with Godlan. And this isn't something that just happened in the last year or two. Endowance has been focusing on CRM customers since 2007 and ultimately partnered with Salesforce in 2010 and subsequently has been banging out projects and success. So what is Duet? This is productized integration, where we've had to build things out on the Salesforce side, implement that middleware, and be cognitive and strategic with the valued ERP side. So we share customer data and business processes, right? So it's not just a connector. The connector is like an open phone line. Now, how do you communicate? What information are we going to share? And ultimately support common business processes. Build a comprehensive customer profile in CRM, leveraging any other system that has customer information. In this case, it happens to be Sightline. Provide real-time insight into ERP managed customer information, such as accounts, contacts, quotes, orders, returns, shipments, receivables, and so on. We want to deduplicate work and data in your enterprise. We want to contribute to that, which we do with the solution. Streamline that quote prep and approval time. Provide that comprehensive 365-degree view. We're seeing on average a 15% revenue increase due to efficiency gains. So just by doing things a little bit differently, having the most effective tools and information available to the right folks at the right time, actually impacts revenue. There's a number of other ways that we can prioritize and help you with our experience from other customers and implementations to identify where we can focus and move the needle positively for your business. Increase customer face time and in a way that's very credible, right? So yeah, spend more time in front of your customers rather than chasing down people and systems for information that you need, because we're putting it all in one place in that combined solution of Salesforce and Duet. But also helping them be more credible, have that deep understanding of the customer relationship rather than just more face time begging for an order. And then optimizing the internal communication. You know, it takes a team to win. And certainly, as any sales rep knows, they're at the tip of the spear representing the company, its products, services, and operational efficiencies or lack thereof. So how we work together to be able to communicate through marketing, close deals with selling, fulfill with manufacturing and delivery and installation, and then service. So some of the special things about it, it's a managed service, right? So as you look at this type of a solution, you want to say, you know, what's it mean to me in terms of how do I adopt it? Do I have to get hardware? Do I need to implement it? This is in the cloud, and it's a managed service. So all of the value of why everybody and their brother have crossed the chasm and have been moving into cloud solutions for the value that it represents, this is a cloud solution, and that value is inherent within our provided Duet solution. It's a cloud service. It's a managed service. We take care of it, deliver the goods, and take care of it on your behalf. It's a pervasive, low-cost solution. That's one of the other things. There's lots of alternatives out there for so-called integration, but they tend to be expensive, timely, and you know, there's a lot of people trying without a whole ton of success. Endowance is somebody who's been at this for years, has demonstrable success, and has packaged this solution in a way that it is low cost and pervasive. Low cost in terms of investment, but also in terms of time to value, so it doesn't take forever as well, which leads to the ease of integration. It's built, we use a third-party partnership with a market-leading, fast-growing, very successful integration technology company called Jitterbit. They're the leader in integration and the cloud integration platform. They're a prime Salesforce partner, although they work with much more than Salesforce. So to wrap it up there, managed service, get all the benefit of the cloud. We're not charging an arm and a leg. We're delivering high value at low cost of both time and effort and money. And finally, we're leveraging great technologies into the solution. So what we've built and then what we've leveraged. So this shows a little bit of where we have Infor on the right. This could be on-prem or in the cloud, your Sightline implementation. We have Duet, which we've got a little piece that can live on the Infor side, and then the rest in the cloud and working directly with Salesforce. We can go into the technical, you know, kind of the strategic and tactical decisions that were made there, but this is based on a ton of experience. In fact, with some former Infor products for Salesforce and Microsoft and Ion that delivered integration. To that end, when this was built, you know, we've made, like anything, you do something the first time, you know, and then when you do it the second time and you build it, well, you've learned a lot, so you can really be better at it. This is that second wave, Duet, beyond Salesforce's integration with Infor in the way of Inforce and Microsoft. This is that second wave and all the advantages that come with it. And then finally, just to break it down into some data chunks here that would be of interest to you, we've got a column with Sightline on the left, you know, the combined solution of Salesforce and Duet on the right. And this just shows you the customers in Sightline are bidirectionally synchronized with accounts, is what it's called in Salesforce, right? So this means that we're changing on both sides of the equation and keeping it in sync. Same with contacts, same with orders. When it comes to ship to, bill to, and items, these are things that are going one way from Sightline into CRM or into Salesforce. So those are, and you can see the little indicator here, ERP to CRM. That's the E to C. The E and C means it's bidirectional. So this breaks it down. You know, if you want to tell that story, if you're rep, you know, and about to get on the phone with somebody, you want to be able to say, gee, did they sign off on that order at the end of last week? Oh yeah, they did. I'm going to thank them for that. And you know, maybe I'm getting on a WebEx with them, maybe I'm doing a face-to-face call. I then want to know, all right, well, what quotes, which this isn't also included in the overall equation, their estimates in Sightline, you know, in quotes in CRM, what quotes are we working on? So if there's a couple quotes that are open, certainly those are things that we're going to want to be prepared to push along, move along, and focus on. Who else has been working on it? What status is it? And then, you know, do we have any outstanding issues with service where we can get visibility into that with our CRM solution? And then finally, you know, another area we might want to be interested in is, you know, are there any open or outstanding invoices? Because oftentimes we don't get paid as sales reps until our customers pay our company, right? So if there's an open invoice, is it just falling through the cracks? Is whoever processes an invoice on vacation or sick? Or do we have a service problem? This is where we're getting into that predictive model of sales, and we're really being solution-oriented and providing value. So cost and time effective, we've got tons of Sightline experience. We're proven, packaged, and streamlined specifically for your type of business, and it's a managed cloud service. So with that, Bobby, I'll just open it up for discussion and questions if you want to go ahead and manage that on the GoToMeeting.
Yeah, wow, that was great, Mike. Good presentation, and thanks for all that data in the end. Actually, one of our questions was answered there. Had to do with a listing of the types of data that does flow back and forth. So that's fantastic. Folks, I want to go ahead and say now, if you have further questions, you want to talk to us about exploring this solution for your organization, jump on Godlan.com. We can do a live chat with you. You can give us a call, or you can click contact us and send us an email. Here's a question, Mike. Wanting to know if you work with mostly just partner customers or with larger, maybe Infor direct type customers as well.
Yeah, we work with everybody. You know, we've got a terrific solution providing a lot of value, and you know, our experience has been with both partner customers as well as direct. We've got a great relationship with Infor as well.
Okay, great. And one more follow on here is most of what you do with new installations of Sightline, or do you work with existing customers and even older versions of Sightline?
You know, the answer is both, right? And Rob, I think maybe you might want to make some comments on there, because we've got experience over the years with Sightline, so maybe fill in the gaps there.
Yeah, so we actually have customers that are on our older versions of Sightline. We go back, we see customers with 8.00. So we go back to that version. That's the lowest we've seen. Can we make it work for lower versions as long as there's a bot pack that can be implemented? There is going to be additional level of effort to do it, but we do actually backport to previous versions of Sightline. Okay,
perfect. Thanks so much, Rob and Mike. Thank you for presenting via the PowerPoint today, and also wanted to touch base there with RJ and say thank you for your software demonstration. So folks, we're going to wrap this up. Again, Godlan.com for any questions or to go ahead and get in touch with us. And from Godlan and the Endowance teams, we appreciate you being with us today. Thank you.